Uh, hello. I just saw that and I laughed so hard. Yeah, that's what I was thinking when it happened. Yeah, exactly. Let me turn this fan down now. Lord, I'm not having a good night. Okay, let's see. It's so hot in here. Yeah, I thought that would get somebody's attention. It was fun. I'll talk more about it in a little while, but yeah. Yeah, there's a problem when the person with the keys to the building is locked in the elevator. No, I'm in the bedroom. I had to save my back. Every time since I started working and I've filmed in there, it hurts my back sitting on the chase. And then my back is bad before I ever go to work. So we finagled this area tonight to get me in here. But I'm like stuck because the table is in front of the bed leg. So the only way for me to move is to roll out that way. So I just rolled in here a second ago. I'm so hot I didn't even want to look how hot I am. I'm like, last thing I want to do is put makeup on when your face is hot. I said, screw it. I don't care. I just don't care right now. It took so much finagling and finding out my table's bent, which I didn't know, and all that fun stuff. I took my bath too close to the live stream. It overheated me. Yes. I can get out, but honestly, getting out of there is kind of difficult too, but it's just longer, but maybe easier. Who knows? We'll find out. Did you see me leave? Hey, Anna. Hey, Aaron. What's up? What's up? I'm running behind on everything. When everything goes wrong, I almost canceled this live stream. I was just like, everything was getting in the way. Like somebody didn't want me to be on here tonight, kind of thing. How's everybody doing? I was supposed to go produce. I was supposed to go protest today. We're having car issues again. Everything that could, just little stuff. It's the little stuff that drives me crazy. If it's something big like tree falling on my house, no biggie, doesn't upset me at all. I laughed. Well, all this little stupid little tiny stuff, oh my gosh, it drives me crazy. You might watch me have a meltdown tonight. A bit. Yes, I got stuck in an elevator, and I'm going to tell you all about it in a few minutes. I'm going to let people come on first. I don't want to repeat it too many times. Oh, it was fun. Yeah. The worst part, it happened right after I came on shift Saturday night. So all night Saturday and all night Sunday, I had to use the stairs for my rounds. Technically, the first round is 5 stories because we have to go check the roof. My legs are, I couldn't even describe what they felt like after those 2 nights. Other than basic training in the Army, I don't think my legs have ever felt like that. And I'm doing 5 or 6 miles a night up and down stairs now. And I hope you know what? I didn't even call to see if they got it fixed yet. Because I think they were on it because I called everybody. So we have a work iPhone that we carry. And it tracks our steps and it has everybody's number in it that I need to call. Like, you got a maintenance guy, because we have security and we work for our company, but our client is this place that I work for, and they have their people. They have their people in charge. They have their maintenance people, their safety people. I called everyone, and most of them went to voicemail. Why? Because nobody wants to answer the work phone number on the weekend. Do you own your apartment? Is that why? Is it like a condo type thing? Wow. Second floor. That's not too bad. Yeah, you had to pay too. That sucks. I'm finally starting to cool off. Oh. So then the air conditioner wasn't working. I got a new remote for it today, and it still wasn't making. It was on low instead of high. I couldn't change the temperature. That was the other. So it's just now since I hit live, it's getting cooler in here. That's why my face is so red. Oh my gosh, so much stuff. Let's just vent for a few minutes. Anybody else? We're just gonna vent for a little while because about an hour ago, I was ready to cancel this, the whole thing. But Tom understands me and stayed calm and figured out the table while I'm losing my shit. That's his job, to stay calm while I lose my crap. Really? Yeah, probably is. Probably have a similar one. 7K. Ooh. So is this like one of those places where you buy your apartment and so you own it, so you have to pay for certain things? Because I mean, if you're a renter, Canada's different too. But when you rent, you don't. They got to pay for that stuff. I'm a homeowner too, so everything that goes wrong here, we have to pay for it. But yeah, even one of the guys called me back because I have to write an incident report. He's like, I want a copy of that so I can call the elevator people and get that fixed. A strata. I don't know what that means. You will have to explain. A strata. I could look it up. Oh God, I feel so much better now. I got it to finally go on high, and I'm finally feeling it. It was so hot in here. When I get hot, y'all, there's a good chance I could go to prison for murder if I'm hot. And I live in Texas. I'm in the wrong state. Yeah, we call them condos here. So it's an apartment building where you buy your apartment, you pay monthly fees, they cover all the maintenance, shared ownership, yeah. Or I know in other cities in like New York, they'll call them a co-op because you have to get approved to even be allowed to buy an apartment in the building. So like all the people in the building have to like approve you. I'm like, man, most people wouldn't want to live near me. No, I'm actually a really good neighbor. We're quiet. We keep to ourselves. We don't bother nobody. I don't like my dogs barking outside. If they start barking, I bring them in. My neighbors are not the same. And the way my house sits, literally 25 feet from my bedroom, 2 yards, behind me and beside me. And I don't know what's going on with these people behind me. They must have a doggy door because there's no way their dog is out 24 hours a day, but he's barking 24 hours a day. So as long as my fan is on or the AC is making noise, I don't hear that dog. But on nice days where we don't need, then it sounds like freaking bombs going off because that dog I'm not used to it. So as long as I keep noise going, I don't notice it that much. But yeah, so we lost the remote. It's been on one setting. The buttons don't work. Okay. So I kept telling him, get me the model number behind there so I can get the right remote because we're stuck. And I finally got fed up yesterday because it was hot. And I said, get me, because this is what I said. I said, get back there, get me that model number because I can't get my fat ass back there to get it. And I literally ordered it yesterday and it came today. Then I go to use it and the same buttons won't work. And now I'm like, so I can't turn it up. I can't change the temperature. It's stuck on low. I'm like, and it's stuck on 77. I needed to be on like 74, 72. So I just walked over there before I sat down, and I just hit a button. He said there was a way you could reset it, but he left for work. He said, I'll have to look it up. I'll call you back. I'm like, I can't wait that long. So I just sat there and started pushing 2 buttons at a time, and it worked. It totally worked. Yes, he did. He didn't say yes, ma'am. He's not that nice. He just stayed silent. He just went and did it with attitude. All he did was go back there and take a picture, gave me the model number. I went on. It was on Amazon for $25. We've been without this remote for more than a month. But it wasn't that hot yet, so it wasn't that big a deal. Today, it became a big deal. So I just 5 minutes, like not even 5 minutes, I just started hitting buttons and it changed. It went to high. I could finally feel it. Thank God. I was going to die. I would die without. We got to get a generator because if we ever lose power in the summer again, I'll have to go get a hotel room. So that's just a given. So all the other stuff that's been going on, I'm going to have to start my, yeah. Yeah. Me too. Friday from hell. Hi, David. Honestly, just since I woke up, because I sleep during the day now, I had to get up early so we could go get Tom's rental car. That's a whole thing. So this is where it all started. I wanted to take my bath. I just did, but I had to clean stuff up before I have to do things to feel calm. I can't have cluttered bathroom when I take my calm bath. It's the whole thing I have to do. I'm picky. So I did all that. Then I was overheated. So then I took a cool bath. Still, I was overheated. Oh my gosh. Being overheated, I can't do it. I'm in the wrong state. I spend 7 months inside a year. Last summer, being out protesting was the first time I've spent any time outside in the summer since my kids were little. And they're in their 30s now. So we got a few people on here. So I'll tell you what happened to me. So if you don't know about my new job, I'm only supposed to be working Saturday and Sunday night, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., 12 hours. And the facility that I work at is very old. I think it's 103 years old. And I don't know. I don't think the elevator's that old. And I do rounds, but I don't just do rounds in the building. So the building itself is the whole block long. Okay. They own the whole block, but there's parking lot, other buildings, and all that. So when I do an outer perimeter, I walk the whole block. This was my first time, Rochelle, but everybody that was involved was like, you're so calm. I was like, I was an Army wife for 21 years. I am alone for 10 of those. So they're like, you've been through worse. I'm like, yeah, it is a long shift. The only reason I agreed is it's an hour drive and it's only 2 days. If it was but the problem was somebody quit and I've been working extra days, and that's been super hard on me because I went from not working for 15 years to walking 5-6 miles a night, which I didn't even know the first couple weekends, but I started tracking my steps on that phone. Now the chart says average mile for most people is 2,000 steps. I looked at a chart for my short legs and it says 2,433 steps for me. Tom wants to take me out and really get my stride and figure out exactly what my step, because I have different steps at the beginning than I do at the end of the night. I'm not joking, y'all. I'm glad nobody's there. They didn't say how fast I had to do it. They just said I had to get it done. I'm literally by the morning, I'm shuffling. I'm not walking fast at all. And when I get it done, and there's a time limit, but no order you have to do it. So some of the younger, like the young guy, he'll do all 4 floors and come down and be done. I don't. I'll go and I'll do the first floor because that's more involved. I have to check machinery and stuff. The other 3 floors is just walkthroughs mostly. So I'll go do like floor 1, come back, sit for 10, and I don't sit very long. I don't like to be bored. So I'll sit for 10 minutes, watch the cameras. Then I'll do floor 2, come back. Then I'll do 3 and 4, or whatever. I can shake it up as long as I get them done. About every hour and a half, 2 hours. If I get all my rounds done, it doesn't matter. And I like going outside too. If I start, it's been chilly at night, even though it's warm. It was dry. It was like in the 50s last weekend. I think it even got. And so if I get zoning on the cameras, it's not really tired, but I'll zone out. It's time to go outside and cool off and get some air in my face and get some blood pumping. So I'll go do an outer perimeter, which is a nice stroll. So that's the only reason I agreed to this, was I could kind of choose. I could sit down when I needed to. Yeah, it's security. Yeah, it's security. I work for the same company as my husband, but at a different, what you call a different contract. I don't work at the same business he does. So we really don't have anything to do with each other. But he's literally like not even 2 blocks away. So he likes to come by if I'm on my outer perimeter and scare the bejesus out of me, because he has a car and he does drive rounds. He became involved in the elevator thing. I needed him. Yeah, so this is what happened. So I do security, and like I said, I use the elevator. The only place I can't use the elevator is when I go to the roof, and we only have to do that once a night. We just check the roof. There's some machines up there, the air conditioners. We make sure everything looks good, and that's it. We only have to do that once a night. So after I got stuck in the elevator, I thought, well, let me go all the way to the roof and then work my way down. That'll be easier. Nope, it wasn't. After that, I said, no, it'll be better if I go up 1 floor, do that floor, kind of rest my legs, come back to the stairs, go to the next floor. And I did less rounds than I normally do, but I still tried to keep it up. So this is what happened. So last Saturday night, I get to work at 6 p.m. We do our changeover. That takes a few minutes. I have to get all my stuff set up because we don't have an office. We're in like a lobby area, and all we have is a desk. So I bought me a nice new bag because my backpack sucked. And I have, things that I need to set out. That's, my drink, my my safety glasses I have to wear, and I get everything all set up, and I have to get my paperwork. So I'm doing all that. So it's about 20 after 6. And I decide to take my first round. Now, the only saving grace to this whole thing is Saturday nights until 9 p.m. there are other people there. Had it been any other time, I would have been completely alone. So that's the only reason it wasn't a complete disaster. So Saturday nights until 9, there are other employees in the building for the for something they do till 9. I get on the elevator. I'm going to go to floor 3 and 4 because until those employees are gone, I'm not allowed to be away from the desk that long, so I can't do full rounds. You just go do quick rounds. You don't start your full rounds until 9 p.m. So I'm going to go do a quick walkthrough on 3 and 4. I hit 3, and it's a service elevator. It's nice and big. You can put pallets on it. And it started to move and powered down. I was like, I looked at the display. It was blank. No floor number. I was like, so I start pushing buttons. Nothing. I tried the open door button. Nothing. So I stood there for a minute. I gave it 5 minutes before I called anybody. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to give this a few minutes before this gets weird. Now, thank God. I drive an hour to get there, and we had to carpool. So Tom had dropped me off. Luckily, I'd gone to the bathroom right after I got there. Or this might have been more of a problem. So I did do that. Thank God. So I'm like, So it's about 6:20 p.m. The first person I call is my supervisor at home. So I call him. I said, so I'm stuck on the elevator. He goes, what? Like, yeah. He's like, okay. He's like, he starts giving me people to call. I'm like, okay. So I start calling people, and all of it goes to voicemail. And when it went to voicemail, I left them voicemail, and I sent them a text, because I know how people are that don't want to come into work. They might ignore the voicemail, but if they can see the text message, then honestly, Anna, it wasn't that big a deal. I mean, this was my thought process the whole time. They're going to get me out eventually. We just got to find somebody to do it. So I was never panicked. I never got upset. Now, when my boss said it could be an hour to 2 hours, I was like, he goes, you might as well sit down. And I'm like, I didn't want to sit down, but I did. But it's literally as soon as I sat down, they came in. I'll get to that. But that was later on. So I'm calling everybody. I'm leaving messages. And I finally got the woman who's really high up. She did answer. And she's like, well, call this person. Everybody's voicemail. So I'm like, great. So then I call, and my supervisor and her both stayed in contact with me the whole time. Well, then I finally said to him, I could have, but here's the problem, David. Then it would have been okay. But any other time, I got to have somebody there before 911, because they would have to break into the building to get to me. They'd have to get through the front door, through a key card door, back to the elevator. It's not a public building. Luckily, Saturday nights, the front door was unlocked, but they still had to be let into the key card door to the elevator. So that'll come in a second. That's where Tom comes in a few minutes. So I finally said there was a help button in the elevator, but I hadn't pushed the button yet. I finally said, since I couldn't get anybody on the phone, I hadn't gotten this woman yet, by the way. And I said, well, I told my supervisor, I'm going to push the button, see what happens. So I pushed the button, and this recording comes on of our address. I guess that's for them. And then somebody came on and talked to me from the elevator company. I was like, cool. And I told them what was going on. She had me do a couple things with buttons, like holding them down for 5 seconds and all this other stuff. Didn't work. She said, well, we'll see if we can get somebody out to you. Call us back if you need anything. We'll get back with you when we know. I'm like, okay, great. So I think that they're going to be sending somebody. So now I've got to try to get a hold of the people up front to let them know to let somebody back. We don't have their phone numbers in our phone. So my next call was to Tom. Now, what had happened, Tom's car's been in the shop for a couple weeks, and this is the third weekend we rented him a car, but last weekend we didn't. Well, I go in at 6. He doesn't go in until 10. So he was going to take a nap or something. Well, they ended up putting him on the clock anyway because somebody wanted to leave early. So I called Tom. And luckily, this phone we carry, we have to carry it everywhere we go because it counts our steps and proves we're working. So I don't ever leave the desk without it. Thank God. Because then I would have been really, well, there was that button, but still, I had phone numbers. So I called Tom. I said, Tom, what are you doing? He says, well, they put me on the clock. He says, I said, well, I need you to come here inside, go into the tasting room, and tell the bar people that they've got to let somebody in because I'm stuck in the elevator. Well, I had called the bar manager. The other lady had given me that number. I can't remember the series. I had talked to her by the time I talked to Tom. So he walked in, and this guy told me this later because he didn't say he was my husband. He said, hey, your security guard's stuck in the elevator. They had no idea. He's like, what? So then he said, yeah, I let it go to voicemail, but I looked at it. He said, I listened to your message. He says, oh, so then that's when he came back and talk to me through the door. I could hear him through the door. And I told him I didn't know who I was talking to. I didn't know if it was the manager. I didn't know who it was. I didn't see who was on duty that night. I'd only been there a few minutes. And we're not allowed to go into the bar area. They don't want security going in there. It's a relaxing atmosphere. They don't want us freaking people out. So I didn't even know who was working in there. And so I didn't know who I was. I said, can you call this number? So I have your number. And I gave him the number. He never called me and gave me the number. So by this point, I've called. So then before I got a hold of that guy, I called somebody I thought worked in the bar, and it was an accident, but I accidentally called the safety coordinator. I didn't know that's what he was. He was there when I got out. So pretty much everybody at this business that is in any kind of leadership position knows I'm stuck in the elevator by this time. So the bar manager finally somehow got with the elevator company, I guess. And they pretty much had said they didn't have anybody in the area to send out. Now, let me explain why. I meant to bring this up earlier. Give me just a second. Waco Skyline, there are no tall buildings. There is literally, here's a good one. Yeah, this is a good one. Nope. Need a better one than that. I'm trying to bring up a Waco Skyline for you guys so you can, there we go. That's a perfect one. Let me show you why they don't have any elevator people in Waco, Texas. This is why. See that one building on the right? That's the Alico building. And that's it. It's flat. So they finally said they didn't have anybody they could find right away. And when they did send them, it was going to be like weekend overtime. At that point, the bar manager said, fine, I'm just going to call the fire department. Literally, from the time he called the fire department till they came was like 5 minutes. Tom calls me from where he's at, a couple blocks away. He goes, by the way, all of the fire department is coming your way. And I can hear the sirens through his phone going by where he's at. And I'm like, what? He's like, all of the fire department. I'm like, why do they need all of the fire department for one person in one elevator? Yeah, Anna. Yeah. So, yeah, they don't have a real elevator company for Waco, Texas. They were going to have to send somebody. I don't know how long I would have been in there. So from the time they showed up till they had this ring this big of elevator keys and literally opened it. They walked up and unlocked the door and opened the door, and I was out. I'm like, so now I said this and I put that in my incident report. So from now on, we call the fire department, period. I'm not calling nobody else. So I was in there exactly 1 hour. I went in at 6:20 and I got out at 7:20. So all of that took an hour. And the whole time I'm like, everybody's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. What? No problem. I mean, it's not like, I'm being held up by bandits or something. I'm just in a locked elevator. And it was a big elevator. It wasn't like a little, I'm not claustrophobic, but it wasn't small. It's a big service elevator. You could get probably 2 stacks of pallets or more in there, maybe 3. Yeah, exactly. So some of those keys on that ring were that long. Because he goes, see, we got all the keys. And I was like, good to know. Good to know. So from now on. And then the last thing the boss lady said to me was, well, I guess security can't be on the elevators on nights and weekends. And I didn't get a chance to answer that. I was trying my best to think of a way to answer that without sounding flippant. Like, well, maybe I'll just, I go, well, I can cancel my gym membership because my legs will be buff. She doesn't understand. At least 3 of us security guards are broken. They're like me. And the other lady has bad knees. But, you know, she's able to do the rounds and walk and rest. And she said she only got 2 full rounds in her day. We're the ones that work the weekends. And everybody was like, you're so calm. I'm like, I knew somebody would get me out eventually. I think the only thing that would have made me stressed is that I had to go to the bathroom. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I got out. Everybody's like, and then the bar manager, he said to me, you're so calm. And he's the one I had a few more minutes to say something to. I said, well, I was an Army wife for 21 years. I said, and I was alone for 10. And when I say alone, you guys, I mean, no family for 2,000 miles. Well, no, not that far. And no friends. Because either you get to a new place and you don't have friends right away, or you were like me and found out that Army wives were crazy and you didn't want anything to do with them and you lived off post and stayed as far away from them as humanly possible. So I mean, I had to do things like on the same day, having nothing to do with one another, you guys. This is the kind of stuff that happens to me. The sewer line burst and the water line burst. They had nothing to do with each other. The sewer line, we found out the problem later, was actually the city's fault under the street. But at the same time, Tom had put in a spigot in our water line in the yard, and he had it at such an angle that it finally had broke. So I could only afford somebody to fix one. Well, I'm not doing the sewer. So I paid a plumber to come out. I spent a week with daycare kids in the house, with toddlers in the house, running outside, trying to fix the water line, hoping that and you have to let it dry, but I needed water. So I had to fix it 3 different times in 1 week, and it was chilly. I remember it being cold. What I ended up finally doing, I was trying to fix the spigot. Finally, I took the spigot out, put a new pipe in, fixed. Yeah, no. I hated that show. Hated. There might be Army wives like that find each other, that help each other. Now, me and another, one of my daycare moms, honestly, we would have never been friends had we just met. Because I was her daycare provider and she got a divorce right after she started with me, when my husband was gone, we really relied on each other as far as like helping each other out with the kids, financially, different things. We never had a problem with that. But emotionally, she wasn't there for me. That was okay. I knew that of her. I had her around for about 8 years. Once she was gone, I had no more friends. That was it. So I had to do brakes on an 86 Suburban with the internet was new. So all I could find on the internet was a line drawing of brakes. Never done brakes before in my life, but I couldn't afford the ridiculous amount of money they wanted. So I sat out there. Half the time I was out there, I was just staring at it going, okay. But I did it. My biggest fear was I wouldn't be able to get the bolts off because some man put them on, but I did all right. I got a sunburn doing it. So, long story short of my life, that in the grand scheme of things I've had to put up with was nothing. Some people that might freak out. Like I said, it's the little things. Tonight, I was ready to murder somebody over all this little stuff. But the elevator, getting stuck in the elevator, I was like, whatever. Okay. Everybody I talked to, are you okay? Like, yeah, I'm fine. No big deal. I'm like, just waiting. It's like waiting on a bus. Now, had it gone past an hour towards 2 hours, y'all know my bladder doesn't last long. Plus, you should see how much coffee I drink. Hey, Mark, how are you? So I take this whole 48-ounce thing of my cold brew to work with me for the 12 hours. and I have to bring a second one. I drink so much coffee while I'm there. When I get off in the morning, Tom's tired. So when we carpooled, I drove home because I'm like, I came out one morning this last weekend and I said, "Hi, you want me to drive? I can see noise." There was a meme we saw one time that was like this messed up squirrel, all messed up, and they were like, he's had too much caffeine, he can see noise. So that's an inside joke. So yeah, so there's a curse on me at this job. Do you guys remember last month when I got locked out? I was the first and only person to get locked out, and they had to call somebody to come and let us all in. Best quote ever. I know. I can see noise. So I drove home that morning and he went to sleep. Well, he didn't want to go in this weekend 4 hours early again, so we just rented him a car. We pick it up Friday and drop it off on Monday. Oh, I didn't tell you about getting locked out? Oh my gosh. Because I haven't talked to none of you guys. Yeah, I'm cursed. Every month something's happening. My first month, last month. So okay, so this place started in a smaller building. It's no longer used. It's in a bad neighborhood. It's fallen down. But they still have cameras and stuff on it. But I think it's for show. Anyway, because they're a green business, we have a Tesla for the security. So once a night, I have to get in the Tesla, go down there and do what we call presence patrol because it's a bad neighborhood. And so we just let them know we're here. We're watching the building because they've had people inside sleeping. And then we come back. And a Tesla takes a card, not key. Well, in order to get out, so I have a set of keys and a card that gets me everywhere. And I clip it on my belt on a D-ring. Well, leaving in the Tesla, I have to get that card out the window. So I took it, and it was really cold that night. I had my coat on. So after I went through the thing, I stuck it in my pocket. So I did my round. I came back. I went inside. I took it out. Went inside, but it wasn't connected. I laid it on the counter, and I wanted to go out to my car to get something. And I get back to the door and I don't have my card. Now, I had 4 hours of training and then didn't work for 9 days. They swear up and down they told me about these keys. No, they didn't. They did not tell me what key went. There's 3 keys. They didn't tell me what the keys went to. I kind of figured it out. Yeah, oops. There's actually an interesting ending to that story that recently happened. So, luckily it was right about 3:45, and I get done at 6. So it wasn't like by the time, so my boss doesn't have his own key. We have one key card between all of us. When one person comes in, we actually sign for everything. And in our paper, in our, what we call a DAR, it's a thing we keep on the computer screen, and we list everything we do while we're there. And activity report. So he didn't have extra, which didn't make any sense. He's the security supervisor, but okay. Nobody told me that all of the doors were keyed the same. The only place I used the door key was the roof door. I don't have any other doors that I need a key to. I use the card. There's like 3 outer doors that I have no reason, that don't have a card reader. They have a key lock. Well, after this happened, the other girl told me, yeah, I separate the keys from the card because if I get locked out, I have the keys. I can go in one of the outer doors. I'm like, that would have been really good information for me. Anyway, so they called this guy who was kind of the top guy. It's not a very big company. It's kind of it was a mom and pop type company, but then a big company recently came in and invested, and that's why they have security now and all this other stuff that they didn't have before. And some of them don't like it. Anyway, so I felt so bad. It was a Sunday morning. He had to show up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I was thinking about getting him a gift card. There's a restaurant in the area, and I was going to get him a gift card as a thank you. Literally a week later, he got fired. I was like, I don't have to worry about him being mad at me anymore. Luckily, I never saw him again after that because he's there during the day and I'm not. So I was like, kind of like, whew. But they've been having a few shakeups going on there. So I know. I mean, I feel bad for him, but the way it was put to me is it sounded like he might have had another job opportunity he was looking at and kind of was on his way out anyway. So they just kind of made it faster. I don't know. Politics, I don't understand. No, I don't see any of the employees that work in that part. Because on Monday morning, I open the gate at 5:45 and I literally see one person come in and then I'm gone. So I met them all the day I trained and then that was it. So, well, except I did work a couple days. I started at 2 and I might have seen a couple people. If I had to work, I've never been able to work nights, Anna. Years ago, even when I was young, I worked a week at a night shift job and I got sick. So if it were 5 days a week, I couldn't do it. But the 2 days, I'm a night owl because my husband's worked nights for like 12 years. But I mean, I go to bed at like 3, 4 in the morning. Now I don't even get home till towards 7:30 in the morning. And then I'm wired. So then I'm going to bed at 9. But usually after that weekend, Monday, kind of Tuesday, I'm getting back on kind of a normal schedule. If it was like Tom, because even Tom, I think it's hard on him because he sleeps more than 8 hours. It's like he needs more sleep because he's up all night. He can sleep 10, 11 hours some days. He'll come home, be wired for about an hour. Hey, Cher's here. What's up? You'll have to replay the first part. I was talking about getting stuck on the elevator. I might talk about it again later on if some people. I've done that before. Yeah, Scooter and I are kind of on similar schedules. And some of that has to do with, I don't get into it a lot, but when you're in a lot of pain, it's hard to sleep. I don't know if that's all your problem, Scooter, but some of that's me. I will be exhausted. See how I'm sitting in Indian style? I literally will do this all night long, exhausted, because when I lay down to relax, I'm in more pain. Like if I'm tense, and sometimes I don't even realize I'm doing it. When you have a lot of chronic pain and you're tense, it kind of protects those areas. And okay. And when I go to relax, you got to get over that threshold of the pain. I start work at 5:30, sleep 9. Yeah. I was like that when I was younger. And when I had to leave, my last job before I got sick in 2010, I left for work at 4:30 in the morning. I got off at 4, but I've never needed a lot of sleep. I would go to sleep at midnight and get up at 4:30 and be fine. As long as I can get 4 good hours sleep, 4 to 6 hours. Me, more than 6 or 7, and it's almost too much. It's weird. I am weird. But I was like that way before even the fibro. Yeah, it's years now. I'm better. I don't know if you know my backstory, but the reason I'm able to protest is they put that pain stimulator in my back about 1.5 years ago. And literally right after it healed, I started protesting. And I feel like things happen for a reason. I've talked about this a few times when I protest. So, and if I hadn't been bedridden, I would have never found the Scientology movement at all. And had the time. I took like a year a little over a year before I protested and I deep dived. And if I hadn't been bedridden, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And then I got fixed right when the org opened here. So it's better. I've lived with it for so long. There's a certain level that I just don't even notice anymore. Got stuck in an elevator in 8th grade in New Orleans with 2 friends during Mardi Gras. No lights at Sears. Oh, I remember those Sears elevators. We were not supervised. My husband, my dad lived in New Orleans for 14 years. And so we visit. I didn't go during Mardi Gras. That's too much. I was on Bourbon Street in 1990 in April on a Thursday night. And I was like, this is enough. There is no way I could do Bourbon Street on a weekend or Mardi Gras. It was off the chain on a weeknight. Yeah. So like a lot of times, this is what I used before. I'm not like that as much as I used to be. I will say this. I'm sleeping harder than I used to after those weekends working. I would sleep like today. I was sleeping hard. Tom said the dog, Petunia, was on my chest, whining at me to go out. Never heard her. Normally, if she breathes funny, I'm awake. So my husband, neat story. Oh my gosh. 2 chaperones. So my husband, his senior year, went to New Orleans he was in this, I forget what it was called, but it was like a business class. I don't know. They went to some convention. They were not chaperoned the way they should. We had just broke up. And we broke up right before I graduated my senior year. And he went to New Orleans. Now, get this, y'all. My dad disappeared when I was 14. He left his other wife and left and didn't contact me. He was talking to my grandmother, which I didn't know. And I hadn't been in my life a lot since he had gotten married, and all that. So I just went on with my life and didn't think much of it. Well, Tom went to he didn't contact me till after I got married, and I was 21. And so what is that? 7 years? Yeah. And so that was 1990. So in 1987, 3 years prior, Tom went to New Orleans and was staying in a hotel. Well, security got called on them, and the security guard showed up and told him to keep it down. Dad told me later that he saw one of the kids with a Grove City t-shirt on, and he almost asked him about me. It was Tom. Because I have a picture of that night, or Tom does, with his Grove City t-shirt on. He's the only one wearing it. He would have been talking to my ex-boyfriend if he would have asked. What are the odds that my school wasn't that small? My graduating class had 400 people. I know. So if he would have asked, he would have known, because Tom knew I wanted to find him. I had talked about hiring a private investigator. I didn't know that my grandmother knew where he was. Yep. If he'd have asked, he was like, oh yeah, it's my ex-girlfriend. You want her phone number? He was worried that if he talked to me or my mom, that my sister's mom is crazier than my mom. And he married 2 of the worst women he could have ever married. I thought my mom was bad. She was worse. And my sister's just as messed up as me. Probably. The one thing my mom did for me was she let me be in my grandmother's life. And my grandmother was my rock. She was a good Christian woman. She was all about family. If I hadn't had her, I would have been way messed up. Well, because of the way he left, she told my sister he was dead. until he actually did die, and then she found out that he wasn't. She was like, I'm older than, she was like 2 years old when he left, so she doesn't remember him. But I was like, when he came to visit years later, I was like, wow, if he would have asked, he would have been able to get my phone number. Well, he could have got that from grandma, but he would have found out from Tom that I wanted to contact him. So, and we're from Ohio, so it's not like we just went to the next state over. I mean, when he went to New Orleans, that was a big trip. But yeah, Fort Benning, Georgia, only orders were be back at the bus by 11. How old were you? Boy, that was, aren't you close to my age? When was that? Because back when we were younger, they didn't care. They're like, just don't get kidnapped. Nobody even said that to you back then. 14. Oh my. I got in some trouble with that age when I was 15 and 16. The only thing that kept me from getting in a lot of trouble was I was in with junior Navy ROTC in high school, and I loved it. And if I got in any kind of trouble, I could get kicked out. So I kept my nose clean in high school. Tom and I met in ROTC. There was one time there was this a-hole. So when it was warm, we wore white shirts, and we wore our uniforms twice a week to school. Some of us would change after class, not always. This a-hole threw ketchup on his white shirt. It took what this guy didn't realize, even though Tom was small, he'd been in martial arts for years. And instead of getting his black belt, he was in the black belt instructor course. He could have kicked this guy's ass because his instructor also put him in the adult class so he could learn to fight people bigger than him. But he was like me. He loved ROTC and didn't want to, and took it. I was there. That took a lot because ketchup's gonna stain a white shirt. He had to get a new one. And the vice principal didn't do nothing about it. They didn't care. But, I need to get rid of that. 8th graders. Dang, Cher. That's horrible. Although, I'll be honest, there were times when we were first married in California when we was broke. He got a hold of these big things of sea rations, like that they would serve the troops. Because, like, the cooks, if they took a bunch of stuff to the field and signed it out and they didn't use it, you couldn't take it back. So he would get it after field problems. We would eat the crap out of that stuff. And there was a couple times he got a case of MREs. And I remember we knew we were doing well when we didn't have to roll pennies for gas anymore. Oh, and when we could buy soda and then name brand soda. So, yeah, I've had those. Oh, I bet it was fun. I'll bet that was fun. We could have gotten in a lot of trouble. We were doing stuff that had they ever found out. But it was good fun. We weren't like, other than drinking underage a little bit. But when I say drinking underage, a 6-pack for 6 people. Maybe if we were lucky. But we had one of the moms. This was in the 80s, y'all. She would rent out the party room in her apartments and let us all come and drink as long as we didn't leave. And she'd watch. Hi, Lori. So there were a couple of, and our parties were so off the chain. We had euchre parties, y'all. We did do some dancing though. We did in the 80s. We liked having dance parties. My 16th birthday party was in my living room, and we just moved the furniture and danced and had a good time. But euchre, if you don't know what it is, it's like spades. So we had like 3 tables of people playing cards, and some of us dancing, and that was the trouble we got into. I would have loved to have gone someplace like New Orleans. They were fun. They were fun. I didn't have like a best friend except Tom in high school because I moved in 7th grade, but we had a good group of friends. I mean, none of them really smoked. We drank a little bit. We were all in ROTC. We'd go out on the weekends and just drive around. If we had enough money, we'd go to the movies. Usually we just drove around a lot. And it was just a good group. And we interdated too. And nobody like had fights because everybody was like, you waited. I know that sounds weird. I found out about this code. I didn't know anything about it. What it was though, we were a very small, tight-knit group. So to find more dating pool, it was hard. So I dated just about not every, but they were all the older guys in ROTC. But I know all of Tom's ex-girlfriends, and he knows all my ex-boyfriends. So, and we went home one time. We were sitting in the room, and everybody came to say hi. And everybody in there, he had dated or I had dated. And we were fine. Nobody cared. Everybody was married, had kids. Nobody cared. So, I really liked my group, my friend group. But once we graduated, we all went, yeah. Oh, that was in 74? Yeah. See, all my stuff was between 80. High school was in middle. I'm not very much younger than you. The 80s when, they didn't. And in the 70s, I was a kid. That's when you went out all day and came home when the street lights came on. Or my mother had one of those voices you could hear for 2 blocks. Everybody knew when she was yelling. Well, I grew up in the country. And then in 7th grade, she got a divorce and we moved to this town into an apartment. So now I lived in a neighborhood where I didn't even have neighbors. There was one kid growing up that lived near me, and we didn't even get along that well. So I never had a best friend growing up. But like when I told you guys before, after that, if you go back and watch that thing about my toxic friend, part of my thought process of getting rid of friends in my life was Tom's always been my best friend. He's always been there since we met when I was 15. We started dating when I was 16. And we got married when we were 20. And he was there for every big moment of my life. So I was like, I have a best friend. I don't need one. So, and we were watching something the other day that said, yeah. And what's cool about it, because we were watching something where somebody said, well, you only argue when you're with somebody too much. He goes, is that our problem? So we do have our tiffs, y'all. It's not bliss by any means. But I'm not going to tell y'all every little thing that happens, but what I used to jokingly say was, right about the time he starts to get on my nerves, it's time for him to go somewhere. And then he leaves for 6 or 12 months, comes back, and I'm like, I miss you. Is that fan too loud? I think I can turn it down now. Look, my red's finally gone. Oh, man, I was hot. I hate being hot. I'm telling you, when it's hot outside, and there was a couple times our electricity went off, I could have ended up that's good, in jail for hurting someone. Oh, who's that? I don't know who that is. Maybe I do by her face, but not name. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you can't hear it. Yeah, I'm looking at my. First of all, I didn't pick this color. My daughter lived in this house for a year and a half, and we moved into an apartment. And this had really pretty flowered wallpaper. I come back and she did this over my pretty flowered wallpaper. And we had one of them big, huge uh, screen TVs up here, and we moved the bed over here. We finally moved that. And then these are all of my essential oils. I have a whole shelf right here. So this room's not, the walls aren't decorated very well in here. Blonde Epstein. Oh no. I've been hearing something about her lately. I didn't know her name. Are we sure? Just wondering. I think that's the one. If that's the one that I haven't got with Marilyn. My craft room's not cleaned up enough to make something from scratch. She liked this necklace when she for the auction. She hasn't picked out anything yet. But I also made, it's actually earrings, a bracelet, and a necklace. I don't know what I did with the earrings, but this is the bracelet. It's a little bit big. I'm gonna have to restring the necklace because this was something I did early on and I was learning, and you can see where I messed up. See how you can see the wire. So, but I wear it. I've been wearing it, and it's usually under my hair, so I didn't fix it. So I just have to restring it and tighten it up. And this needs, by the way, y'all, fun fact. So this is, you can see this is a bit tarnished. It's supposed to be bright silver. So I use toothpaste and baking soda to clean these up. It's just when air gets to them, it oxidizes a little bit because it's not real. Some of my stuff is real. And see, I did see the bracelet is similar. You can kind of still see too much wire. So I just need to restring them, and I'm going to, if she still likes this one, this is the one I'm going to send to Marilyn. Because I can always make another one. This one, if you guys weren't at the auction, I actually made these beads. Polymer clay. I took 2 colors of polymer clay and rolled them together, cut them out, and made these beads in the oven. And then I made this necklace out of it. These are here because I wear them. And then, oh, I really like this bracelet. It's probably dusty from being up. Oh, this one drives me crazy because it's so heavy. So I found I love magnetic clasps, right? But I was wearing one of my bracelets and I lost it. So I went and I started putting these safety chains on the magnetic clasps. And this is just real simple. See, it's supposed to be bright silver, but it's been hanging up there and needs cleaned. But this one has a key on it. I like keys. I have a whole bunch of keys. Oh, that is dusty. Whew, that was dusty. But this is all set up from when I was bedridden in here. So like I've got my remote holder right there. So I didn't have to bend down for my cords. And then my emergency light. Tom got it's on a magnet. Ooh, go off. Got all my paraphernalia over here. I thought, got off on a tangent. That was my first thought, and I don't even know what the cause of death was because we're still wondering about Epstein. You know, if she went through what we think she went through, I can see there are people that are successful and have money and still they do that. Yeah. Well, I mean, those kind of girls, don't they give them drugs on purpose? Oh, thank you, Buttercup. Hmm. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's sad. I hate to hear that. But I've seen the most successful people that look like they have great lives do it. Well, I'd never really get into it, but my dad did that. But I understand why. He had a terminal illness, and he was one of those kind of guys. He was a loner. I mean, when I found him in New Orleans, he lived in a one-room apartment, went to work. He was a functioning alcoholic, meaning he didn't drink at work. He had the same job for 14 years in security, funny enough, at the same hotel until when he came here, gave me this story that he was going to find a new job in uh, Nevada, and he was stopping here for a few weeks. He knew what he was going to do. He wanted to spend time with me because he didn't want to go through all the stuff he would have to go through for whatever. He had so many things that was probably wrong with him between that. He was an alcoholic since Vietnam. And then I think he smoked, he literally would light one cigarette from another. So, and both my parents smoked 2 packs a day, and they both had, my mom went from lung cancer. Pretty sure that's what he had too. So, and I'm already older than they were. My dad was 51 and my mom was 53. And so that's why I'm so happy when I hear somebody quit smoking. Both my kids smoke. Devin, I think, has quit. Not sure. But I'm like, they saw their Nana pass away. They saw her in hospice. I don't understand. Tom tried to get me to smoke once in high school, and I was sitting in the back seat at the park with the door open. I was just sitting there. I coughed so hard I fell out of the car on the ground. I'm like, how do you do that? It felt like a brick going in my lungs. I was never interested. Oh, I got more room up here than usual. But yeah, and then I get my table put up here and I realize it's bent. I didn't know that because I was at the end of it in there, but I've got it. So if it looks a little crooked, that might be why. But the only thing that I was a little irritated about, 2 reasons. One, it would have been nice if he left a note. What he did is when he left here, he went to a KOA camp in Austin and pretty much stayed there till his money ran out. It was, by the time we got called and got there, it was Christmas Eve. So he did it the 23rd, and we had to go down there on Christmas Eve. I don't know if he thought about that. Yeah, you can go 2 ways, and I chose to never be like her. Yeah, my mom said things to me like, I wish you were never born. I hate you. You'll never be anything. And the only thing that saved me was my grandmother and ROTC. It taught me it gave me a sense of accomplishment. I was on drill team and everything. So I just kind of, luckily also in high school, she had second and third shift jobs. So I didn't have to see her that much. So I understand, Cher, I do. You've got more though. Holy crap. Now my mom's husband, which would have been after my dad, he was a truck driver and he was great, but he was gone all the time. And he got tired of her by the time I was 11. So he was pretty good too. I mean, but he was never there. So yeah, you can go 2 ways. You can let it mess you up, or you can choose to break the cycle. I'm glad that you picked to break the cycle, which I could already tell. Yeah. Like we've all said, a lot of us have been through a lot of that kind of thing. That's kind of why we're drawn. I've always, I mean, I didn't understand because it was all verbal. My mom really wasn't physically, so I would always say, "Oh, I'm okay." Mine wasn't physical, but it wasn't till this community this last year. I'm 56. This last year that I admitted that I had trauma. I just thought, well, yeah, my mom messed me up. I always blame myself for all of my mental issues. And I've never had any good therapists. I've had them fall asleep on me. I I don't even want to go there. So mainly, the only thing that's the only honestly, I went, so after I got sick because it was overnight and it really put me into a depression. So 2010 I got sick. I didn't go in the hospital till 2012 or 2013. It was the most peaceful week of my life. And I think I could have done it years sooner, but I had kids, I had a job, I had a husband who was in the army. You know, you can't just take a break and go to the hospital. And I even stayed an extra 2 days to make sure the medication, because I always have problems with medications. I'm very sensitive. And I said, well, I'll stay an extra couple days and make sure this new medication is working. I didn't want to go home. And that one helped me quite a bit. No, I feel like that's what we did with our kids, to be honest. Now my daughter's very self-reliant like me, but my son, wow. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can do that too. You can go too far and then you guys don't understand reliance. We tried, you know, they had chores and so I really do. I know my son has ADD like my husband does, and that's already an issue. I'm pretty sure he has high functioning autism. Just his whole life, looking at his whole life, the way he does things, he doesn't understand social cues. He gets screwed over all the time. He believes he's 37 years old and still believes everything people tell him, even though he's been screwed over at every turn. And it's just, I want him to get tested because I think he's in college again. He's using up the rest of his GI Bill. And if he could get diagnosed, he hasn't even been diagnosed with ADD. He tried to do it in the Navy and they just said, well, you're depressed, and gave him depression meds. That was not the problem. My husband got diagnosed when he retired, and they're the same person. Literally, when I would call the house, I couldn't tell them apart on the phone. And they both have ADD. They both act the same way. So if Tom has ADD, so does Chris. Yeah, some parents are like that. That's I mean, in a way that could be nice, but then in a way that could be selfish for the parent sometimes. I mean, I didn't want my kids to move away either, but I didn't want them to be completely dependent either. So we tried to make them, you know, when they turned, both of them turned 18, because we were very into church at the time and very strict as far as dating and stuff like that. Like they couldn't date till they was 16. Well, what's there? That's not that big a deal. As soon as both of them turned 18, they were gone. And I had to be like, they're in God's hands now. I did what I could. Yeah, that my daughter has street smarts like you would, like I do. Yep. Even if she has to like borrow a couple $100 for like 3 days before rent's due because her check didn't come in or whatever, she gives that back to us immediately. And she has worked. Okay, she has 3 kids. Now, the first one she married him just because, and if she'd have talked to us, they did the justice of the peace and didn't talk to us, because I would have told her never get married just because of that. But she did, so she wasn't really she worked a little bit. Then she wanted to have their second kid, and he got kicked out of the army. 3 days was before their son was born. He was out because it takes a little while to get him out. So they were staying with us when her son was born. He's now 12. She had 2 jobs by the time he was 6 weeks old. Might have been 4 weeks old. And he was sitting on his butt playing video games in front of us. And one of her jobs was outside in the summer. When she was trying to get him to put in interviews or applications, when he said to her, well, I'll just get a job at GameStop, then I can get a discount on my games. She told us that, and this is what she'll do when I start to lose it. She's like, Mom, just listen. I got this. The next day, she kicked his butt out. Then this one, my granddaughter will be just turned 2 in November, so she's a little 2.5. Again, she had 2 jobs by the time this baby was 6 weeks old, or had a job. But when I got there, she was working 2 jobs. Hey, Eric, how are you? I just saw you. Sorry about that. I was going off. We were going off on independent kids. Or independent kids, or kids that just different childhoods. Some of us didn't have the best parents. But I was just talking about what a boss lady my daughter is. Yeah, I know. It's true. I know, and somebody tried to grab me one time when I was 12. Not physically, they didn't get out of the car, but they were trying to get me in the car. Yeah. Okay. Glorfindel. Well, towards early on, I talk about getting stuck in the elevator. That's the only interesting part. At work. You guys, did you see Scooter Mom's first comment? We weren't on yet, and I was laughing my ass off. I look at the screen, and I said I got stuck in an elevator, and she said, "Oh, you need to call security." Oh, wait, because I'm the security guard, and I got stuck in the elevator. I was talking about the son-in-law. Yeah, son-in-laws. We haven't had a very good lottery with the son-in-laws. Matter of fact, the best spouse she had was her wife, who ended up, to make it short, she's like, because my daughter isn't really gay, okay? When she met Andy or Alicia, she's Hispanic and very big. They met at the country. Devin liked to dance at the country bar. She's little, and she had a dance partner that was a friend. They'd just throw her everywhere. She thought Andy was a dude for a while. And then when she said, well, I'll try. Let's do this. They had Andy was the best dad those kids ever had. Andy went to the baseball games, worked on, and they were young at the time, like 7, 8, maybe younger. I mean, and Devin said she had the best of both worlds. Andy was a dude, and you got the caring part that men don't usually have. And then Andy had to screw it all up. So this isn't my opinion on anybody else that's trans. This is just what we went through. If you know anything about testosterone, what does it cause, even in men? It causes roid rage. It causes them to be angry, act funny. And so Andy decided she wanted to transition. And Devin wanted to be supportive. And so they even did a live stream on Facebook for family and friends to ask questions about it. And the thing about it is, when you do this, you're supposed to go to therapy. You're supposed to be on it for a year and go to therapy that whole year before they'll do the surgery, at least back then. Well, she wasn't going to the therapy, and she completely changed. She had already gotten kicked out of the Army. She got a really good UPS job as a driver, which is hard. She screwed that up, ended up working at a smoke shop, wanting to sit around and smoke weed all day, and was angry. Ended up, my son was staying there. He was about to move out, but he had to wait about 2 more weeks to move in with this person for whatever reason. And that set Andy off, and Andy pulled a gun on him in the driveway for no reason. My son is the calmest person you could ever meet. But the steroids just messed her up, just to no end, and the end of the relationship. Because it was already hurting the relationship. And she was really upset because she was really in love and they had a really good relationship. I know. And there was a witness, one of the neighbors. And so last we heard, I don't even know if she went to jail or not. Yeah, exactly. Well, part of the problem was too, because the steroids was messing her up physically and mentally. When she went to jail, Devin got her phone and found out she was talking to other people. And I don't think this was not the Andy before the steroids. Yeah. Yeah, there was no coming back from that. Yeah. So when they got together, she was a sergeant in the Army. Everything was normal. And then it just went downhill. And I was disappointed too. I liked Andy a lot. She was great with the kids. Just matter of fact, her and Tommy used to get the same haircut. And they didn't know. They were young. So Andy was a dude. And they would go to the barber, and Andy taught him how to put product in his hair. And I mean, nobody else she's ever been with did that. Not even their own dad. Their own dad, they don't have anything to do with their own dad. And it was very upsetting. Well, she's actually from Houston, so not very far away. The last thing, Chris got a phone call from the DA, and he was mad because they were talking about 2 years adjudicated or 5 years adjudicated probation. But this was a violent crime, and it was around COVID. Matter of fact, it was. I think it was 2020. Yeah. And so it took like 2 years till he even got that phone call because everything was backed up because of COVID. And I think they were just trying to get cases done. So we don't know exactly what Andy actually, I don't think Andy did any other than the initial like week, because Andy's family bailed him out. And see, I always called him a he. That's what he wanted. So, the problem is Andy had a thing for going after straight women and was already in a new relationship with another straight woman. And I'm like, why do you do that? Why do you do that? There's a good chance it may not work out. But anyway. Are you guys there? I think I'm having trouble with my connection because that's the second time my picture went away. Are you guys still there? I hope we're good. I'm worried. I'm not seeing any. Okay. How long was I frozen? I was talking. You know me. I'm still talking. Because it only went blank for literally a split second for me. So I didn't know I was frozen. We have got to take that box in. It's old. You know how when you're with a cable company for a long, like 2, 3, 4 years, well, those boxes get old and obsolete. Okay, good. And we've already done it once before. We've been with Spectrum so long. It's time to change the box out. And, oh, I'm in here. Oh, yeah, we do have more problems in here because it's way in the living room. And we looked at getting one of those boosters that you just plug in the wall that'll kind of boost your signal. I need to do that because now I know for sure. Oh my goodness, I wish I lived closer. It's like a 3-hour drive to Houston. I would offer a place to stay, but it's too far. Oh, wow. Well, if she needs anything, email me and I'll give you my phone number. I mean, I'm not close, but if she really needed something, I'd help her out. So let me know. Well, it took me a year or so of thinking about it to realize, because we were dumbfounded at how angry she was. It took me a while to really think about it and realize that it was the steroids. And I'm like, man, and she was female on it. So it's going to screw up your regular. I know I've never been able to take birth control ever because it screws up my hormones so much. I was on the shot for about a year and my dad came to visit. And I guess Tom and him had a conversation and my dad looked at Tom and said, "What is wrong with her?" And Tom said, "Birth control." And he said, "You need to get her off that." So I only took it. So I know how something like that can mess up your hormones. And it made me a basket case. Am I repeating or is it my film or the camera? Ooh, that's weird. It's probably because I'm far from the box. Okay. Still. Well, Oh, okay. Okay, good. Because, it's not SPTV without technical difficulties. But yeah, I mean, I know as a woman, just something messing up my hormones can make me an angry person. I could imagine taking testosterone at an abnormal level, So, I mean, I can understand now that some of it wasn't in her control, but she also wasn't getting the counseling. Had she been in counseling and told them this, that maybe they could have figured something out. That's the sad part, is had it all gone the way it should have, maybe they'd still be together. Maybe they could have figured something out before it devolved into that. So that's my only experience with anybody gay or trans in my family. We accepted her in open arms, being devout Christians and all. I've always said I don't care as long as they're good to my kids. And she was very good to Devin until that very end part. And my grandkids. So I was really disappointed too. But so when I see, you see clips in your shorts, things come up, and you see somebody like that, maybe who is really being emotional, I wonder how much is that their real personality and how much is that the hormone levels just wigging out. I do wonder because I've been through it. What do you need to? She's trying to get under her blankie. Come here. Come here. Come here, Tiny. Come here. There you go. They like to burrow. You can tell when it's bedtime. They all want to get under their covers. They all have their own blankets. We take a fleece and we cut it small so they all can have their blankets. So, I meant to cover this pillow. His ugly pillowcase. What just dinged? Oh, I'm getting notifications. Are you guys still here? I know I don't have very many people in my chat. So, what time is it? 11:30. Yeah, mainly this has just been for me to catch up with you guys because I feel really... Oh, good. Thanks, Scooter. I've really been kind of isolated lately because I'm not even watching a lot of SPTV. I haven't been keeping up on things. I know a little bit. I see the headlines or I'll click in for a few minutes, and I haven't been chatting because what it is I have this small tote. I'll show you. With a bunch of junk in it. I put this little tote in between us, and we set the computer on that because it's got holes in it. Keeps it cool. And that's how. And so I'll be laying here tired, and it's super hard to try to chat. So I'm in some chats sometimes here and there, and I don't say anything because it's just super hard. Okay, good. I'm glad you're still here. So Lori's still here. So I've just been I just felt really isolated the last few weeks. Go away, these stupid notifications. If anybody wants to. Not getting to Austin. I told Tom this week I had to get to Austin, and we were dealing with his car, me recovering from walking up 5 flights of stairs, 2 days. What else did we have to deal with? Oh, well, so he gets his car back last week. It's making noise. So he didn't drive it to work last week. We turned it in on Monday this week. They said they fixed it. They said it was something to do with the brakes, the brake pad, because they replaced the whole rear end. My whole first paycheck went to his car. I had all this stuff I had to get for work, T-shirts and all the stuff's going to have to wait. But we've been literally, I won't say the one thing we haven't replaced because it'll jinx it. He's finally named his truck. It's a Dodge Nitro, Franken Nitro. Because nothing other than the body is... Hey, Scooter Mom's here. Hello.
Hi.
I didn't know if you wanted to come on tonight or not. Sometimes I don't think about it. I just thought about it.
I'll stay for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to do a late night either. Oh yeah, I've done that too. Watched on my TV. Now, sometimes if I'm on a device like that, I'll have my phone open and I'll chat there. But if I'm watching on my computer, I'm like, I've tried to type laying down. I'm like literally one finger like this. So it's very short comments usually. Oh, I have to show you this comment that I got today. You know how I like trolls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if it uploaded to. Oh, I'm not even going to bring it up, but you can see it if you go in to the comments. So I was checking on comments on my channel. It was hilarious. So let's see if I can find it again. Let me go in YouTube Studio. That's where I found it. Was it shows you what you haven't. Is it this one? Let's see if I can find it. Oof, darn. How do I find it? You know what? I took a screenshot of it. Never mind. Here it is. All right. So this person under one of my, I can't tell which video it is here, but this person said, Farrell Cheryl, this was way back with the OSA operative list, what they just commented. Farrell Cheryl also told me that you are OSA, and I hearted the comment. Next comment, same person. Dusty Soda said that you are OSA. I read all 4 of them before I responded. Then there was a third comment. Dusty Soda wants to call ICE on Farrell Cheryl and have her deported because she knows that he murdered somebody.
Ugh.
Then the 4th comment, same person. Dusty Soda said that he and Farrell Cheryl, Miss Kim stayed at Hacienda Gardens, which is OSA. Oh, there was a comment up here that I missed that said that one of them or me stayed at Hacienda Gardens. I don't know. So this was my response today. All right. I said, yeah, it was super hard being an OSA operative and in the Army, then an Army wife for 21 years. Passing my 2 security clearances was probably the hardest. They even checked my credit report for my last job for that clearance. It was super hard to find the time to fair game people when I had a home daycare 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and being stuck in the middle of nowhere in Texas for 17 years because of the Army. That was
You know what? I bet that's the same troll that's been giving Dusty a hard time.
Do you know the name?
Nope. You'd have to ask him.
I'll email him. I'm not going to say it, but it's there. I don't delete comments, and they put the comment there, so they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yeah, I know. Yeah. The only time I really have time is when I'm driving. Now I'm only driving 2 days a week. So I have no idea what the hell was going on there. Because I'm like, out of the clear blue sky. I mean, this has been months ago. And I'm like, you really think that is going to get my goat? Oh, look at him. Oh, that's your picture, isn't it? Is that him? He's kind of popping in and out. Is he laying up there?
No, that's my green screen keeps popping.
Oh, I thought I saw the cat.
Just got the green screen, thinking that would solve the problems with the background. Not so much.
As long as you don't move a muscle, you'll be fine.
It's just doing it on its own.
It is.
Hi, Dusty. We were literally just talking about you, Dusty.
Was your ears burning? Oh, I have to read you what I just read, Dusty. So I had a troll. Matter of fact, I don't know. I haven't checked my comments enough. So I had this troll talk about you, and I screenshotted it. It's still on my account if you want to go see it. So this was a month ago that he did this. I just saw it. Because I don't know why, but I check my comments more often than that. But I do it through YouTube Studio, and sometimes it doesn't pop up on my comments. So, Dusty, you still there? A discotheque from the 70s? Yeah, I know. I like purple.
Cher.
I like purple.
Me
Make sure
too.
he's still here and he didn't just pop in and out. So I had a troll talk about you and Cheryl. Okay, good. All right. This is what he wrote. And Scooter mentioned this might be somebody that's giving you a hard time. Victor Roberts. There's 4 comments, and before I responded, Feral Cheryl also told me that you are Osa to me. The second comment, Dusty Soda said that you are Osa. I was like, okay. Third comment, Dusty Soda wants to call ICE on Feral Cheryl and have her deported because she knows that he murdered somebody. And fourth, Dusty Soda said that he and Feral Cheryl, Miss Kim stayed at Hacienda Gardens, which is Osa. So this was my response to him today. I said, yeah, it was super hard being an OSA operative and in the Army, then an Army wife for 21 years. Passing my 2 security clearances was probably the hardest. They even checked my credit report for my last job for that clearance. It was super hard to find time to fair game people when I had a home daycare 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and being stuck in the middle of nowhere, Texas for 17 years because of the Army. Yeah. I don't know who I was fair gaming in like middle of nowhere, Texas. So anyway, I don't even know if I didn't realize that was a month ago, but it was. These people, they don't upset me. They never do. I don't care who they are. I don't know them. So, like I said, yeah, I don't know when I had time to be OSA, raising my kids and stuck in Texas. I've been in this spot for 32 years. Who am I going to fair game? Well, I guarantee you we don't have any Scientologists in the Killeen area. Oh, that's a good one. I will say that next time. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I don't care. I just thought that was the thing that popped into my head was, well, when would I have time to be OSA in my life? I mean, pretty much up until I got sick, every minute of my life has been scheduled, and you know where I was. I have a very boring life, especially daycare. Oh my gosh. My doctor, the first 4 years I did daycare, told me I had to take a vacation because I didn't take any time off because I had to pay daycare before that myself. And I had to find daycare when on post, literally post daycare providers, home providers will take every holiday the Army gets off, even if it's a 4-day weekend. And I had to find somebody else every time because I had a civilian job. So when I was a daycare provider, I wouldn't do that. I only took off major holidays and I didn't take a vacation. So I gave them I gave them like 2 months notice at least that we were taking leave and going to go home for a couple weeks. Like, oh, if the comments have like OTA anywhere in, okay, let me look at it. It wasn't in the comment. I wanted to see if it was in the name. The name is Victor Roberts R9S. So I don't know. I don't really care. I'm not that interested enough to figure out who it is. But what's he doing to you? I mean, is it just like that, being annoying, or is he causing you problems? Like, yeah. If he comments again, I might say something like Cher said.
I'm going to stop my camera for a couple of minutes. I'm fiddling. My daughter gave me an early birthday gift, a new webcam, and I'm fiddling with it. So I'm here. Okay.
Oh, really? Weirdos don't have anything better to do. That's why they don't bother me. I'm like, I just don't understand people that have, I was just talking about how I feel really isolated from everybody. I haven't had a lot of time. I've had time. I could have watched some things, but, um, just my brain, I, like since yesterday, I've been watching movies. I just haven't watched anything. I'll see the headlines, when I click into YouTube here and there. I just sometimes I just I do a brain dump, and but then there's other ones that I do. So I do save a couple, like Scooter Mom and Natalie, for my drive, because I have over an hour drive each way this weekend, and I don't really listen to music when I'm driving anymore, so I just listen to. Oh, but I've been kind of cheating. I might get in trouble. They never said. Here's the thing: when I'm sitting and watching cameras, there's no sound, and it's so quiet that. So I've been putting one earbud in and listen to a little bit of music, or I haven't done anybody's show yet, because the music keeps me kind of. What's the word I want? It helps me concentrate. Because when it's quiet and I'm staring at these cameras, I kind of zone out. I'm not tired. It's just I'm like 30 seconds goes by and I realize I was zoning. And so putting the one earbud in here and there has helped. And I have to take it out, because the facility, anywhere past where I'm at in the lobby, you cannot have any electronics, because I have to have a special explosive proof flashlight, because there's fumes and dust, grain dust, that can catch fire. And the phone we do carry, they have a special cover on. So I can't take any of that with me. But like if I do like the parking lot perimeter, I might listen. So I've been kind of doing that a little bit. But I'm like, maybe I'm probably not supposed to, but I'm like, I have 12 hours by myself. I listen and drive at one job. Yeah.
Yes, Lori, we know you do.
Barn
Oh, thanks, Cher.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
gosh.
Just plain purple. That's my favorite color. That's like my favorite shade, the grapey purple. That's my favorite color.
Yeah. I like the eggplant purple.
I like
That's
that
my
color too.
favorite.
I don't like
Okay.
I do tolerate them, but the like lavenders and stuff.
Back to disco.
That's okay. We're fine. We don't care. I mean, you've got that. I've got Ucky Wall. I mean, I was like,
Yeah.
don't really care. Oh my God, I couldn't believe they picked what it was is, at the time she worked at Walmart, and they literally bought the cheapest gallon of paint they could find.
Uh-huh.
Because
Listen, be thankful it's not orange.
God, I know, and that's her favorite color, or black.
No. Oh,
Well,
jeez.
she knew we would be moving back in eventually. It wasn't permanent. Um, and I told her it was okay, because I didn't get to pick the wallpaper. It was already done when we bought, and it was these big pink, white with these purpley pink flowers all over the room. So I was getting kind of done with that, and so when she wanted to paint, I'm like, yeah, just pick a neutral color. It's okay, but we're gonna paint in here sometime soon. I thought about doing a purple wall with some glitter in it. Just what do they call that? An accent wall. I don't know if we're gonna do that. Hey Eric, how are you?
Hi, Eric.
Oh, you're doing security tonight. Oh, so we're doing the same thing now. Cool. Cool. I look all professional. I'll take a picture, because we have to wear a security vest. Tom doesn't, because he doesn't work in a facility. So it's black instead of yellow. I look all professional. And but I get very. You guys think I'm weird on here? You should see me when I'm by myself. Up there in the warehouse floors, where, oh my gosh, I just say this. I'll jump out of the. I'll be so bored. I will come out of the elevator and going, come out, wherever you are, or something stupid like that. Or start just singing do 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 do. If any, I'm just glad there's no sound on the cameras. Oh my gosh. I guess somebody thought they saw a ghost up there because it's 103 years old. And I'm not somebody that really thinks about that. I've never felt nervous up there. Not once. But I said, so the bar guys that I see, they're the only employees I really see on Saturday night for a couple hours. They might pop. They go, have you seen anything? I said, no, but if anybody comes in at a weird hour and hears bad singing, that's me. Just because I can't sing anymore. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. The pet sitting. Now, when I did pet sitting, they brought them here. And I thought about doing it for money, but I was doing it because in a military town, it's different. You know, in a regular neighborhood, you know everybody, and people don't really go away for long periods of time. In the Army, you can accrue up to 30 days and leave town for 30 days. That's why our town is very high in larcenies. That's what they call them. Burglaries, because houses sit empty and you don't know your neighbors because people move in and out. And so I offered just people at church or people I knew that I would pet sit for free. They just had to, provide the food and stuff. I had one guy, his family was in the Philippines and he was here. He was retired Army. And I had his dog one time for 2 months. And but my back got too bad and I had to stop doing it. But I like doing that. I'm home all day anyway, and I've had problems with housing my dogs when we went somewhere. So, oh, okay, yeah, I could see that. Are you that close to the base? I didn't realize that you were that close. But yeah, so you understand what I'm talking about then, Chair, with the people leaving. We had, you heard about this, any of you that's been here. So I worked at the police station on post for almost 6 years. And we had this for 2 years. We didn't even realize it. Somebody finally put them together. All these people would go home on leave for a couple weeks, and somebody would roll up with a U-Haul and take literally everything out of their house and rob them. And the problem is, and this was on post, okay, on the base. The thing is, that doesn't look weird. That's happening all the time. Well, it took them 2 years to figure out it was a coordinated ring. And they set up, so the first thing was MPI, Military Police Investigation. They set up a sting. They had an idea of this house they were going to hit. But they didn't tell the neighbors that they were going to be dressed in black and hiding in the bushes.
Oh, no. That they noticed.
So guess what happened before they showed up? They called the cops on them. So then they accidentally caught them. They got pulled. This couple got pulled over and they had stolen property. Come to find out, do you remember when I talked about this before, who the ringleader was? He was 16.
Oh, wow.
He was a minor and running this ring.
Jeez.
So then what we had to do is they took all these cases that had already been done. we had to start putting them in again under this new charge because it was all him.
Mm.
And we kept getting more reports. He was already in prison, and it was all done, and we're still getting reports to switch him over. The amount was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Oh no, really? Yep, I live near Killeen. Yep, I've been here for 32 years. When I got here, that Killeen had nothing in the 93. Now it's nice now. Actually, it's a bit congested now. Yeah. I honestly, if anybody asked, I would be like, now I would stay out of Killeen. Anywhere close to the base, I would stay away from, because they've upgraded the. It used to be you couldn't live too far away because you had to get there fast, but they've redone the freeways so well you can live a good distance now and get to work on time. The problem is, when I was going to work and when Tom was going to PT, back then we had 48,000 soldiers. It's one of the biggest bases in the world. One lane to get on post. You have 38,000 soldiers trying to get to PT at 6:30 in the morning at the same time. I'm like, y'all can't, I don't know, make a new entrance or something? Well, a few years ago, they finally did. They opened everything up. We've got 4 lanes instead of 2 now. And now you can get on post like that. But I used to go to work. I had to be at work at 7. I would leave at 5:30 and get to work before 6. And then I would put my makeup on at work. I'd fix breakfast. I'd get stuff ready, because once PT started at 6:30, 6:15, if they're running through an intersection, you have to wait. And there one goes through, another one goes. You could be sitting there for half an hour and be late. So you either had to get there before PT or sit there. So that's why oh, that's good. But yeah, I like Texas as a state. I just don't like the weather. Oh, cool. So you've been down here then. That's cool. You know where I live then. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. He's been in school. Yeah, most likely the first time they are. Now, tell him if he somehow gets a hardship tour to, like, they're opening Panama again or Korea. You can take your family. You just have to extend it to 2 years or 3 years. But yeah, I'll be interested to see where he goes. It'd be cool if he comes here. But it'd be better if he was on the East Coast. I was really upset that we were never on the East Coast, because I could get from Atlanta, Georgia to Ohio in 9 hours. We've always lived 19 or more hours from home. So it was never a quick trip. If we'd have lived anywhere, so many bases on the East Coast, we could have been home on 4-day weekends and visiting family. So when we left. It was, I think that's been the hardest on the kids, is they grew up, we were it. There was no extended family, no grandparents, nothing. Oh, cool. Oh, okay. See, Tom could have extended, but I didn't want to go. We had just bought the house when he went to Panama for a year, and I'm like, plus, Devin was 2, and I told him I'm not going to somewhere where the grasshoppers are bigger than my 2-year-old. So he went for a year and came home, and then he did Korea for a year in 2001 to 2002. Now, normally when they get a hardship tour of 12 months, they get to come home halfway through. I remember 95 to 96 when he went to Panama, he came home at the 8th month for 2 weeks. Now, I had finally gotten to a place where I was used to him being gone, and it was, I had myself in a mental state. When he came home like that, it was great to see him. I had to start over. It was very hard to start all over again. So when he went to Korea, for whatever reason, because you can take military flights for free, but they said, because you only get 2 weeks, that he had to have a return ticket in his hand before they would let him go on leave. Well, this is 2001. I think his base pay back then was around 1,000 or so, 1,500 a month. The ticket was $1,800. I was like, well, I guess you're not coming home. That was the first year I didn't see him for 12 months. And the internet was fairly new. So I actually almost started to forget what he looked like. Not kidding. Other than pictures. It was weird. And so right at the last month, he got a webcam. And it was way back. So it was the webcam where you got an image every few seconds. And so I would get this. I'm like, hun, please turn that off. I was like, no. So he nixed that right away. Yeah, it was super sexy. I'm like, hun, I'd rather look at our wedding pictures sitting over here, okay? Yeah, he gave it away. Wow. But I kind of wish now I would have went to Korea. But again, and when you go to a hardship tour, when you come back, sometimes you go somewhere else. He had a chance at that time to go to Fort Stewart, Georgia. We could have left Texas. I never knew we would be in Texas for 17 years. Again, I'm like, we're here. We have the house. Everybody's established. I don't want to go somewhere else. Well, that was kind of my choice. I'm kind of regretting that now. Also, that area got hit with hurricanes a lot, and I didn't like that either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, luckily, and then later on and during his Iraq tours, they had better internet, and we could do like, what was that, Skype? Because if you guys don't know, so if you get sent over like that, either a hardship tour or deployment, you get 2 15-minute calls a week. And they will cut you off. There's an operator paying attention. So this was our conversations. He would call, hi, Devin did this in school, and Chris did this, and the water pipe burst, and I had to pay this bill, and this and this. Yeah, 1 minute left. I love you. I love you. I love you. Yeah, that's what that was like.
No.
And he had to stand in line to do that.
Tom is her husband.
Oh. Yeah. Well, they might be talking about, they're talking about Joss is your son or son-in-law?
Son-in-law?
I think son-in-law. Because we've been talking because he's been in 29 Palms.
Yeah,
Hey,
okay, got it. Hey, Eric.
Yeah. But yeah, that was, and the first time we were talking about this the other day. So we got married in August of 89. And at Christmas, right before Christmas, he went to Panama for jungle training, just regular jungle training. Well, that's when they ousted Noriega. So I find out he's getting shot at on the radio at work. That was
fair.
Oh no, we have fire ants here too. Oh, those things are a menace. Oh man, when I had the home daycare, we had to be on that. I had one little girl that got bit on her ankle. Wasn't a lot. Her whole leg swelled up. It wasn't the ant bite. They said somehow an infection got in through the ant bite. But when these if you don't know fire ants, I don't know if you have them up there, Scooter.
Not that I know of.
When they bite you, it leaves this big raised pussy ball.
Oh,
It's horrible. And I could not, this is how fast they get you. I have stepped in one and walked off and my whole foot was covered.
whoa.
They're angry little pieces of crap. Holy moly. Yes.
Oh no, Cher. Oh.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. I haven't picked a date yet, but yeah, we need to do it.
The
My
month is almost over, Kim.
I know. We're gonna have to do it next week for sure. Maybe we could do it Friday-ish. Maybe earlier in the evening than this. We'll get together. Because I do want to get it posted at least this weekend before so people know. Yeah, fire ants aren't. We've got a couple hills right now. You honestly couldn't wear sandals around this place if you're not. I mean, and when they make their hills, and we have one in our driveway that we have to walk by. Matter of fact, I stepped in it tonight by accident. It was dark, but they didn't get me. It's like huge. There's, I hate fire ants. Freaking hate fire ants and roaches. Man, roaches at this facility. Man, they better be putting the word out. I am the roach murderer at work. Because normally they can skitter away really fast. The problem is I will find them in the middle of an open room. And there's nowhere for them to go. So I get at least a couple a night.
And you guys have roaches that are like the size of my foot.
The last few I stepped on were this big.
Oh. Okay, my foot isn't that small, but still. Yeah.
Yeah, we call them water bugs. Now, Orkin, because we hired Orkin one year, because when we moved into our house from our rental, the rental was infested. And so we hired Orkin. We like sprayed everything before we brought it in. And we hired Orkin for a year just to prevent. And he said the big ones, what we call water or palmetto bugs, don't actually infest inside. They live under or outside your house. I'm like, so I don't know where they're living because there are places at this facility they can get under these roll top doors and stuff. That's probably where they're coming from. Tree roaches. Yes, they are. Oh, I know about that too. Is Wednesday. Oh, well then maybe we'll do it Wednesday. And I will post it tomorrow. If that's a good day for you. Give me a good time for you, Eric. Yeah. I'm sorry. Time gets away from me. But this was the first weekend I didn't have to work extra. Thank God. But yeah, those things. Oh God, I hate them. Oh, hate them. Ugh. And I was worse when I first got here. I hated all bugs, but I've actually gotten less freaked out over the years. Oh, that's fine. Or we can do it earlier if you want, because I want to make sure the East Coast people have a chance. Can you do it at 7? That would be 9 my time. Saw a cow ant the other day. I don't know what that is.
Me either.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. I always learn stuff on here. All kinds of stuff. That would be 8 here. Yeah, that'll work. Wednesday, 6 your time. I know, cow ant sounds big. Ooh, look that up. Let's see what that is. But yeah, my thing is I have arachnophobia for real. If I see a picture of a spider, I get knots in my stomach. That's how bad it is. It's spiders for me. But the roaches are kind of less. I more hate them now than I'm freaked out, just because I've been here so many years. But I remember my mom going with my stepdad trucking in Texas, and her coming home and telling me about jumping spiders in the bathroom. I know, and we've seen those. When we lived out in the country here, the first 3 years we were here, we lived out in the country, and oh my gosh, the things that we had to see. Red and black, very pretty. Only ever seen one at a time. That's unusual. Oh, can you guys see that? It is pretty. It's red and black.
No,
Also,
the light was reflecting off the screen.
let me bring it up on here. They're also called the velvet bug. They look furry. Let's see, cow ant. Huh. Images. Actually, that doesn't freak me out as much as they used to. If you can't handle bug pictures, look away for a second. Let's see. Huh. They're actually kind of interesting looking.
Still a bug.
Yeah, still a bug for sure. Let me get rid of that. But yeah, like I said, I've gotten less freaked out than I was when I got here, but I still can't do the spiders. Just can't. That's why I couldn't go in my craft room until I set off a bomb in there, because they took over my craft room. I have some old windows against the wall, and I just went over there to move them, and I don't even want to tell you what was back there. And we have wolf spiders here, and they get this big.
Oh no.
Yep. So my son was about 17, 16. Actually, I think he was younger than that, but he was a teenager. He went into the kitchen, and all I heard, and I made that kid freaked out over bugs. I know it was my fault, but all I heard was screaming and big, huge, big, huge. I'm like, what? And I go in there, and this spider this big had run over his foot and went under the fridge. And there's nowhere to go under the fridge. It's a piece like this. There's no crevice, nothing back there. So I took a can of Raid and just sprayed underneath there until I couldn't stand the fumes anymore.
Oh.
Because I'm like, oh my gosh. And they like so the big roach, I think you were here when I talked about this. I find them in the bathroom a lot. They come up through the drain. And I try to...
Yeah.
I actually, in my garden tub, I have a suction cover, and I set a big jar of Epsom salts on top of that to keep them from coming in. But I need to cover the shower too. I was sitting on the toilet, y'all, and I felt this thing hit my back like that. Like, I was like, holy crap. And I jumped up. Thank God I was done. I was going number one. I was like, and I jumped. This big fell on my back.
Oh.
Probably from the ceiling or something. I don't know. And I've seen them fly. I've had them fly across, because the bathroom's right there off the master bedroom. Yeah, honestly, they don't bother me at all. They don't bother me at all. I don't see them very much. But you know what's funny is they say the size of the scorpion matters. The big ones here are not that venomous. It's the tiny ones. One day I was sitting on the bed in the rental when we lived in the country, and I felt this tickle on my thigh. I was wearing shorts, and it was this little scorpion walking on my leg. I was like, poof. Yeah, we got wolf spiders here too. Yeah, I think they're probably all over the South, most likely.
Okay. I need a change of subject stat. Okay.
Me too, actually. Me too. Somebody think of something. I need help. What's been going on in the SPTV world lately?
I don't know. Manning went to Chicago and protested with Style Audit.
Oh, neat. That's fun.
Well, yeah, until they got harassed by some guy that, yeah, thanks, Cher. Some guy that has, that Style recognized
From
as
Scientology?
being, well, no, he's not a Scientologist, but he clearly acts on their behalf. He's one of those.
Mm.
Yeah. And it got kind of tense a little bit.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That part, the tense part, was not on camera.
Okay.
But they did a short stream after, and Style was telling us everything that had happened.
Yeah. I'm glad they're okay.
You saw that, Cher? Yeah. That was, wow.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Oh, I did see how Cubs champion kind of is done with his case.
Yeah.
I
You
was
saw
in
his
that
stream
chat.
with Aaron?
Yeah, I was in there for that. And I mentioned, and Eric Rader has mentioned it, when Pup Groomer, I'm like, we don't have to protest in front of an org.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking hard on that too. I almost just went out to, a busy area in my town when I should have done that, but we ended up dealing with cars today. I was thinking about doing that if I couldn't get all the way to Austin because, with the driving and everything, it can be an all day thing. So I was like, and we have the base here. So we have a lot of people in a very small area. And I was thinking about the mall because there's a sidewalk that would technically be off the mall property, but public. I could sit there at the entrance, but then I'm used to people being able to stop and talk to me. So I'm trying to balance that. I'm also seriously considering one of my days in Austin going to the courthouse or the Capitol building, which is only within 2 miles of the org.
Yeah. Hitzel went there for the hands-off protest.
Oh, okay. So you got to see
After
it.
she had stopped by the org first and left them some chalk messages. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it. I didn't see like a large part. It's not like she was, showing the building.
Yeah. I'll have to go scout it out to see where the best place to set up would be. That's the only thing I wanted. So maybe one time when I'm done at the org, I'll go over there and give it a look because there's a lot of one-way streets and things like that I got to figure out and where to park and all that. But man, I got my new sign. I've only got to use it once. I'm getting So next
By
week,
the way, I had sent you a message on Telegram. You can probably disregard that at this point because I also sent it to Hitzel and she's working on that.
Okay. All right, I'll check it out. I've got to figure out how to get rid of notifications. If my phone's turned off and I turn it on after I charge, it's like bing, 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 bing. And 90% of it is BS that I don't need. And I don't know how to get rid of it. So I miss.
Well, it's a Samsung, right?
Yes.
So in your settings, there is actually, you can either do a search, or if you scroll down, there should be a notifications section.
Well, I mean, I know how, sort of, but my issue is even certain apps, 90% of it is BS, but some of it is I need to get. So it's balancing what I need to get
Yeah,
too. That's
yeah,
part of my issue. But
yeah.
so the manager of where told him to leave.
They went into Dunkin' Donuts,
Oh,
and the guy followed Manning in there. Style was already in there,
okay.
and Manning went to look for her, and he was in there with Style, and the guy, oh, good night, Lori. The guy followed Manning in there and was harassing them quite a bit. And Style kept telling him, "We're done. Please leave us alone."
So he followed them from the org. That's
Yeah. Well,
very interesting.
literally, it's just a few doors down from the org.
But yeah, still he followed them.
He followed Manning, yeah. And this was after he had gone inside the org. We saw him go in the door to the org, and he has apparently been in there before, because Style said he had been in there before. She had seen him go in there before.
Hmm.
And he's the guy who was apparently hassling Trashy not too long ago.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
And
I'm
he's
worried.
definitely got some issues going on.
Well, those
You
are the
could
people
tell
they like
that
to use.
even before he followed Manning. Like Manning, after the guy had been speaking for a couple of minutes, Manning discreetly hit the mute button because the stuff that was coming out of the guy's mouth was just,
That's awful.
yeah.
Ew.
And when he thought the guy had left, he put the sound back on, and then he sort of scanned, and the guy's leaning against one of the bike racks, and he comes over and starts yapping again. So on goes the mute again.
Well, we know that's the kind of people they like to egg on,
Yep,
and
exactly.
I've had it.
Exactly.
A lot of people have had. One guy, I don't know if it's true or not, but he asked the guy, I forget, Wendell, I think. He
Yes,
said, "What
Cher.
did they pay you to do whatever?" He said, "A Big Mac." I
Yeah.
don't know if that's true, but I'm just like, you know, but yeah, because like that guy that came after me, I never saw him before. Not this,
Hmm.
the second guy with the skateboard, the first guy. Never
Right.
saw him before and have never seen him since.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Manning traveled. Yeah, Manning traveled to Chicago.
Yeah. I think he had to go there for work, but I guess he knew that it was coming up, so he set up to meet up with Style to do some protesting. And I think they had plans for something else for the same evening, and I don't know if it even happened because they didn't go live. And I think their plans originally were to maybe go live that evening, but I guess with everything that happened, they didn't.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's better
Yeah.
to stay away and not egg that stuff on because they're trying
Well,
to
they
get.
weren't, I don't think they were planning on being at the org, except that Wendy had dropped into the chat and asked Manning if he was going to be at the org that evening. And he and Style, I don't know what their plans were, but Manning said something about if he showed up at the org to meet up with Trashy, he might be dressed like a blues brother. And I don't know what that's all about, but knowing Style and her love of outfits,
Okay.
you know. It was going to be fun, whatever it was.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. The stuff that they'll do.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Oh, and George, the gnome roamer, is with Style now.
oh, okay. I didn't know
Yep.
that.
We saw. I suspect there's a little 2D flowing going on between George and Miss Cabbage.
Uh-oh.
Yep. Yep. That George, man, he's a
He's,
little gnome. He's a naughty little gnome.
he sounds like it for sure. Oh my goodness. But yeah, we've been really looking at the Class C motorhomes,
Hmm.
and I'm like, that's the only thing about this job is I had wanted to do like that the trip. It's gonna be a while before we want to. Do you know what happens when you pay something off? I just don't understand this because you've made all your payments on time and you've paid off your loan. And you
Hmm.
think you would get a little pat on the back for that? No, your credit score
Mm-mm.
drops.
No.
You didn't know that? Oh, we just figured that out this last year. When you pay something off like a car, your credit score drops
Why?
because I guess you no longer have the loan, you're not paying on it. I don't understand it, but so when the car last year got totaled and we just paid it off recently, his credit score dropped. Well, then the camper got totaled and it got paid off last month, a couple weeks. Credit score dropped both times because you paid off the loan. You don't have the loan anymore. I don't understand it myself. I'm like, you would think you would get a 10-point up, plus because you paid off
Yeah.
your loan in good standing. And so we have to wait to work his credit score back up before we want to buy a Class C.
That's crazy.
I know. Doesn't make any sense.
Mm-mm.
But both times he took a hit because I didn't have a job, so I wasn't on it.
Yeah.
And so, because I've been looking, and I've found a couple, and I hate looking when I can't actually buy yet because I don't want to get screwed on the interest rate, and we want to wait.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point was maybe by the time I can do that, I'm hoping in about 6 months. I really want to do that tour around the United States. Having a job might, maybe I can plan ahead with that. Because what they've
Mm.
been doing is, luckily, because we're on the same company, a couple of the officers at Tom's location have come over to ours and worked and cross trained. So if somebody has to call off or whatever, we've got other people that can fill in besides just me,
Mm-hmm.
like I was doing. So maybe in a few months when we can buy, I can, tell them, I need a weekend because I could do 2 weeks and take off one weekend maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's just something I've been thinking about. I would love to do like an East Coast, go down, do the whole tour thing because we did
Yeah.
the whole United States in 16 days one time. We left from California and went from there to Tucson down through Southern California where he had family. And then we went from Tucson to New Orleans to see my dad. Then we went from New Orleans to Ohio to see the family. And then we went back along the top and we did that in 16 days.
Wow.
So
That's
I
a
know
lot.
yeah, it was a lot. We were young then.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that now. We were young then. We could do that.
Double that amount of time.
Yeah, I know. And we had a little car back then too. It had good gas
Mm.
mileage, but yeah, that was a lot of miles. But who's here? Who's still here?
I have no idea.
Me neither. I'm probably gonna get off here soon.
Yeah. I definitely expect to get a good sleep tonight.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I slept till
Well,
five
yeah.
o'clock, so I'm awake.
Yeah, I took about a 2-hour nap this afternoon after I got I got home from my appointment. I was listening to Natalie, and then there were a couple of other videos that showed up on my feed as soon as Natalie was done, and I was like, ah. So it took me a couple of hours before I actually took my nap.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I'm doing my problem was the reason is the set between the Saturday, Sunday morning and Sunday night
Hmm.
is by the time I get home and get to sleep, it's like 9 and I have to be up no later than 3:30.
Yeah.
And going to try to do the reading in there.
Mm-mm.
And I didn't do that this so I'm probably Mondays are hard because that's recovery day. So I may try to do the readings Tuesday or Wednesday to get back into that piece of blue sky, especially with
Yeah.
all the interviews he's been doing lately. It'll
Hmm.
be a lot really interesting. Oh, Jen's live. Okay, I might jump over there when we're done here. Um,
Thanks, Eric.
yeah. And see, that was another thing. Saturday, I've noticed Fridays isn't the first couple. It was kind of hopping.
Yeah.
I think Saturday night was a bit better for the time period, but that's next in my schedule.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I'm like, I don't know. I think in my mind, I'm like, I think I'm only going to do this for a year. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
that. So I'm kind of pushing myself. It is hard. Somebody asked,
Mm-hmm.
you know, how I was doing. It's hard. It's a lot of just uh, force of will isn't quite the
Yeah.
word I want. I just nights that I feel tired or I can't do it. What's funny is I will force myself to do it, and I end up doing
Mm-hmm.
more than I do on regular days because I'm so worried
Yeah.
I'm not going to get things done.
Yeah.
So I just
So
kind of,
you're just pushing through.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
no
no Jay,
face.
what's up? Yeah, that's and then literally by the time I get home, I'm just my from the waist down. I'm like, oh, I lost weight. So
Ooh.
I went to the doctor yesterday, and I went to the doctor like the week I started, and I haven't been under 180 pounds in years. And I was
Mm-hmm.
185 last visit. I'm 177. I lost 7 pounds. That sound right? That's 8 pounds. And the thing was, I think I actually lost more than that, but I've gained muscle in my legs.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, which most people do, muscle weighs more than fat does.
Yep.
And I meant to like measure things because I wanted to see. Because my
Mm-hmm.
boss asked because he said he's lost a lot of weight since he started,
Yeah.
and I've been I can never say this word sedentary.
Sedentary.
Yeah, that's it.
Sedentary.
I can never say it for so many years. But the problem is, I get home on Monday and I don't do anything for days. I need to
Mhm.
go to the gym like midweek to keep up my legs and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tom even said I lost weight here because I'm all flabby. Because I don't have a lot of the lean muscle. I need to gain muscle because that's why it's so flabby right now because there's no muscle in there at all
Yeah.
from all those years of just sitting. Oh, Aaron's still here, and Eric, and everybody.
Mm-hmm. They're probably double dipping.
Probably. I do that too. I don't
Yeah.
care. It's fine, especially late night.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I forgot. I had a thought process about the job. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember what it was. But I was like, because I wasn't looking for a job. It found me.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, The money's nice. Because, oh, what was funny is I said, we had to do something one day before I got my first check. I said, well, I'll just pay you back when I get my check.
And that felt good. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, Tom makes just a little, a little bit too much for me to even look at disability. So I've never
Yeah.
even tried.
Yeah.
So he's been, but our whole relationship, I've always had a job. I've always brought in some sort of extra income. He tried one time early on when I got sick to say something about me not having an income
Mm-hmm.
once.
He learned.
I'm like, I cashed out my 401k after I got sick to carry us for a
Mhm.
while and stuff. So, and my income helped buy certain, like the house and other things. So
Yeah.
yeah, he one time, and then he didn't say that again.
Yeah.
he's been pretty cool about it for the most part. But yeah, it is nice having my own income and stuff. I was able to buy a few things for work that I wanted without having to worry about it too much. And he's
Yeah.
he's he's pretty cool about it. It's always been, I think, when people have different bank accounts, I think that's weird. We never, it's always been all together. And they say some places that's just the way it is. It's the norm. I'm like, well, I could see it, I guess. I think it's because we've been together since we were teenagers. I think if you meet somebody later in life and
Mhm.
you weren't there all the time together, I could see that.
Yeah.
But our lives have been so intertwined since we were 16
Yeah.
that those kind of things seem weird to me, just to me personally.
Yeah.
So it was just, a matter of fact, I handled all the finances for a long time. And when he finally got promoted to a certain rank, he was like, I thought it was great. I could have $5 in my wallet. He didn't even know what bills we had. I guarantee you he didn't know. One time after he retired, or was it? No, it was while I was still working. So it was before he retired. I needed him to pay a bill. I gave him the envelope, the stamp. This was back when you still had to do that. And the
Yeah.
cash. He had to go get a money order and put it in the envelope. 2 days later, it was in our mailbox because he addressed it to us from the company. That was the last time I had him pay a bill.
Yeah.
I was like, and we had a late fee. I was like,
Oh boy.
okay.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, but I never got on him for things like that because his career was so all consuming. I mean, I don't think I was supposed to go in the army full time too, but he did it first. And I don't know if I could have got up and went and ran at 6:30 in the morning every weekday for 21 years.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if I could have done that. I mean, I say that though, and I don't think I can do things, but I do. But I'm just like, his job was freaking hard.
Mhm.
It's not the easiest thing in the world. So,
Yeah.
you know, I had my job and he had his job and we worked that stuff out
Yeah.
eventually. Well, it is getting late and Jen's live and what time is it?
Yeah.
It's 12:30.
Huh.
Actually have to go get stuff ready for tomorrow so I can get up and go. It's been so cute. Tom's been packing my lunch for me.
Aw.
It's nice to helping me get out the door. And then when we carpooled, I was like, oh my God, he thought that we get the carpool to work. That was cute.
You two are so cute.
But yeah, I'm like trying to get out of the house. He got me 2 days in a row. So I have a bag, and I have to have stuff for 12 hours, and I'm away from home. So
Yep.
I have to have like extra stuff. And I finally bought a bag to carry, and I'm like, my belt was hanging out the bag and dragging that I just bought. And have you guys ever seen Steve Martin in The Jerk? I don't really like that movie, but there's a scene where he's like bankrupt or something, and he's in a robe, and he's like, I don't need you. I don't need any. I just need this chair. He's walking. I just need this lamp, and he's all this random stuff, and he's dragging it out of this house.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he was laughing at me getting in the car because I'm dragging stuff, forgetting stuff, getting in the car, and he's like, "Well, all I need is this belt hanging out, and all your stuff." Oh my god! Because it's hard to get in a rhythm when you only work 2 days a week, and then you have 6 days in between. Almost,
Yep.
It's hard, and I'm like, oh wait. And what was nice, the first few weekends, he didn't come to work till 10. So if I forgot something, I was like, hey, you need to bring this, and this. I
Yeah.
remember that movie. It's old. It's old. I don't remember a lot of it, but I remember that scene. If you look up Steve Martin the Jerk, you'll probably find that scene on YouTube. But yeah, so God, I need so much stuff. Extra batteries, and so I bought a new belt,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going back.
Uh-oh.
Because I was wearing it when they got me out of the elevator. So all these people are standing around, and I'm wearing this belt that stinks.
Oh,
it's
no.
a leather belt, and it smells like mildew. Like,
Ew.
I know, so strong. Tom thought, he's like, I'll get it out. I'll try some Benner. Didn't work. And he wanted to fix it. I'm like, it was literally around $25. I'm like, no, they're getting this piece of crap back.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so bad. I had to put it in a sealed plastic bag.
Wow.
I know. And all of them people had to have smelled it and probably thought I stank.
Mm.
So I have to get another belt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That movie was the thing about Steve Martin. Do you know who I'm talking about, Scooter?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. His earlier stuff was in the really kind of stupid comedy type stuff. I'm not into that as much. But as he got older, he started doing more adult-like comedy. Then he got good after Parenthood and stuff. I really like it. So The Jerk was okay, but it's more for a certain type of comedy.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever watched it all the way through, but I've watched pieces, parts here and there, so I know. But
I've never seen it.
You can live your whole life without seeing it; you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like I said, if hold on, let me real quick. I'll see if I can find it, because then you'll know. Because it was funny when he said it. I was like, oh my god, you're probably right. Let's see, Steve Martin, The Jerk. I don't need anything. It comes up. I don't need anything. I'm trying to. There's one that's a minute and one that's. I don't want the 4 minutes. All right. I don't know if you can hear it. I think you can. I don't need you. I don't need anything. Can you hear it?
Yep.
Except this.
That's the only thing I need is this. This ashtray. Paddle game. Ashtray and a paddle game, and that's all I need. And this remote control. The ashtray and the paddle game and the remote control, and that's all I need. These matches. The ashtray and these matches and the remote control and the paddle ball. This lamp. The ashtray.
Oh, his pants are around his ankle.
I was trying to figure out what was on his feet.
I didn't catch any.
But that's all I need. That's all I need too. I don't need one other thing. Not one. I need this. The ball game and the chair and the remote control and the matches for sure.
And Tom was like,
Wow.
he's like, I don't need. Ah! He was like, I don't need anything but this belt.
Yeah.
And this jacket and this vest, all the stuff I was grabbing and forgetting and hanging out of my bag. And
Oh gosh.
oh my God. I can't forget anything.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So they still haven't gotten me uniforms at work.
Uh-oh.
I bought my own khaki pants, and they gave me one shirt. And so I don't even know if they provide a belt or I have to buy one. I'm buying one anyway. Because when I put those two, we have two phones now. That's a long story. That we carry. One's a scanner, and we have to scan these certain tags and locations to prove we went there. And it takes one person to mess everything up for everyone else.
Yep.
But so I carry two phones, keys. When I put those in my pants start to come down. I have a belt. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I like Three Amigos. I like Martin Short and Steve Martin together. And I did watch 1 or 2 seasons of Murders in the Building on Hulu that I need to finish. Oil can shooting. I don't remember that one.
Okay. I'm going to have to go. My eyes are fighting me and they're winning.
All right. I'm going to go too. All right.
Say hi to Jen for me. I'm sorry. I can't even pop in there to say hi.
All right.
Okay.
You have a
good night, everyone. You too.
All right. All right, you guys. I'm going to go too. But it was nice catching up with you guys. So Wednesday, 8 o'clock my time? Is that what we figured out, Eric? Well, here's the phone I gave you the number to. It's charged now. Is it on? All right. Text me. And because of my fibromyalgia brain fog, definitely call me the day before and remind me. It is very easy for me to not know what day of the week it is or forget an event. So, Eric, definitely call me the day before. Maybe I might even have you call me the day of and remind me. So, I will put it on the calendar, but don't take it personal when I forget stuff. All right, so you're in California, so I'm 2 hours. So that's 8 p.m. my time. If I can do it tonight, I will. But tomorrow, I will get that posted on StreamYard. And I will see if we can get some other people to promote it on their channel, too. I would like that. And I'm going to try to have my son in there, too. Even if he doesn't want to chat, I'd like him to listen. So, it was good catching up with you guys. Next week, oh my gosh. If it kills me, I got to get back to protesting. Oh, between broken cars and a new job, I haven't made it to Austin. It's driving me crazy. I really do miss you guys, getting outside. I really do. I can't believe I've this many weeks. I didn't think a 12-hour day job would really get that. It hasn't really been the job as much. The vehicle issues have been a problem too. And just every day there's something we have to do that I have, because it takes me all day to go to Austin. I have one thing to do that day, a doctor's appointment, dropping off a car, picking up a rental car. The days I can't go to Austin. That's the thing. So that it takes one thing that day to keep me from going. And something feels like it's trying to keep me from going. And that makes me want to go even more. So keep an eye out. If I can't make it to Austin for whatever reason, I will try to go somewhere between here and there where there's a lot of foot traffic, and like Pup Groomer did, and get my stuff out and maybe talk to some new people that aren't aware of what we're doing. And that may be my fallback position when I can't have a whole day to go to Austin. But thank you guys for being here tonight. I had fun. It was a kind of a stressful evening to get started, but let's see. Gotta go to work tomorrow night. I'm gonna try to do the reading that we're doing. It may not be a set day, because I may want to go protesting on Tuesday or reading on Tuesday. So tentatively, I will try to schedule the next bit. We're still reading about L. Ron Hubbard's, I think, fake history, and I want to get into that some more. So y'all have a good weekend, and I will see you guys next week.